All right. Was it, did you eat pineapple pizza? All right. So anyway, no, go ahead.
Now, I actually didn't start with that one, but I did answer that question. I have not had any pineapple pizza, unfortunately. I just haven't been in a position where I could get one, to be honest, like in a good place. And also, my parents told me I'm fat, so I'm trying to lose some weight to not eat so much pizza.
That's a parent's job. You're too
Yeah, like,
thin. You're
well,
too fat. Yep.
uh, I was like, thank you. And then it's just because they're Swedish. Alex's parents from Romania, they're like, oh wow, you're too skinny. You need to eat more. It's a different culture, I guess.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, uh, no, we wanted to kind of open up the stage with a quick note. Obviously, everybody here is here and has probably already done this stuff, but for anybody listening on YouTube, and in the most recent announcement, we talked about needing an update to your station. And basically, if you've already gone through the install once, you've already done this. You're just going to go to the antennas page on the Wingbits site and run the command after you SSH into your Pi or whatever device. You're going to run that command. It's the same command you ran the first time. This time it's just going to update some different stuff. And if you're more of a text reader, you can go to the step-by-step guide on the docs site. And step 5 there literally says the same thing. Just run that command. It's the same one if you look across both. And you don't have to reboot if this is your second, third, fourth install. It's only for when it's a brand new machine, a brand new Linux distribution that you need to reboot. And then finally, if you are someone who is, say, multi-feeding, running a Docker container, running Balena or something, come on Discord, ask us a question on how to do it. We don't want you to mess up your previous install or your previous feeds to any other aggregators, but we're here to help. It may not be as straightforward. I know if you check the third party, let's see, it's called Unofficial Tools on Discord. Many of the third parties that have set up containers and such have already updated their stuff. So it may be as simple as rerunning theirs, but feel free to hit us up in Discord and make sure. And that is your public service announcement.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. I'm gonna scroll back up and see where we left off. So Funky's hungry. And so there will be Wingbits token on the Solana network, and that is correct. We will be launching the token on Solana. So the goal for mainnet is still later on after the summer, this fall. But testnet is just around the corner now. We're just going to give people a little time to update the devices, adding the wallets, and then we've adjusted the total supply down to 10 billion. And right now we're finalizing a few things also on the distribution schedule, like the time. We're playing around with that. I will start distributing the testnet tokens here within the next 10 days or so. Should be maybe 14, depending on how we see the updates are going for the devices. Yeah, and then Mike, maybe you have more insight on this. Punky's Hunger is also asking about the Tangem hardware wallet, and I said I don't know a whole lot about that. I use Phantom for Solana, and then I just for my other stuff on ETH and stuff I use MetaMask. So maybe you have more insights into this.
I do not. And that's
Yeah.
why I think it's great that we now have a wallet channel, or wallets plural, on Discord so people can discuss pros and cons of all the different wallets. I understand that some of them can handle SPLs, basically tokens on top of the blockchain, and some have more difficulties. So obviously we need to go through. I'd love to start creating some documentation on what each wallet requires to set it up, at least the main ones. There's, like, from my research, there's, I guess, 5 incredibly used Solana wallets that are predominantly the ones that people go to. So if we could get, instructions for the top 3 or something, and then you might be able to apply that to others, or we'll expand it over time. So Love to fill out that documentation. I am relying on the community to help prompt some of that in the wallets channel and say, hey, how do we do it on this wallet? Does this wallet work? And I will try to start researching them.
Cool. And then it was honest. Is there a way to confirm that the update in station was successful and uploading as expected? I mean, Mike, and not from a user perspective, I assume. Just if the install was successful, then it's done.
Technically, we do have a way. We are storing a version number on disk. And if you ask me right now, it is. I'll put the command in Discord. Setup discussion channel after this stage, but I think you're just catting a file, echoing the output of a file, the contents of a file, and I'm pretty sure that's under /etc/wingbits/version. But I will put it in chat.
Perfect.
And in the YouTube description. So anybody listening, you can look in the description. I'll put it there.
Perfect. And then Cereburst just says he's looking forward to test tokens. We are too. It's going to be really fun to start distributing them. And obviously, I know a lot of people are asking for the lifetime earnings. That will also be released because we know people kind of want to keep track of the total. Obviously, when then the tokens are distributed, you will see all the earnings coming into the wallet, so you can see it there. But we will also be able to show it on the dashboard. Cello. Even though I really enjoy working with Solana and the Phantom wallet, it's known that the Solana blockchain is not always the most secure. Have you thought about it? Is there an emergency plan for a blockchain failure? Yeah, so we're aware that there's been some vulnerabilities on the chain. We are having a lot of conversations with both Solana Foundation now and with Solana Foundation about this. They're giving us some technical help as well. And based on our use case, because we're not using the blockchain initially, we don't write the data on the chain and stuff. We don't see a big issue, but we're working tightly with them right now to make sure that there's not going to be any issues, or hopefully not be any issues. But we picked a chain. We considered obviously a lot of different chains, and at the end of the day, this is just the one that made the most sense from a big picture point of view for community benefit from a large trading volumes from existing ecosystem with a lot of tools and adoption. And based on what we've learned from talking to a lot of people, it's also looking pretty good for the future. And they're working a lot of cool stuff on Solana. So I think all of these issues will be solved before too long. Let's see, Nessus. Let me read your question. Is it in the works of having a station? Are you asking if we are gonna try to sell a bundle that has for example, the Pi and the antenna and the adapter? Is that what you're meaning, Nessus?
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we want to do that when it comes to the Raspberry Pi and stuff. Obviously, we will launch at some point the more of a plug and play device that we manufacture, and so that one we will obviously be able to provide, but not when it comes to this, unless there's a need from because there was some issues in the beginning, especially with the AirNav bundle on Amazon. They kept raising the price, so if we see that it's not good anymore for the community, maybe we'll try to source it ourselves, but it's not in the works right now.
Nessus also, or Nessus, what do you mean by testnet tokens? Like the current tokens that are being produced, quote unquote, will be replaced, or the slate will be wiped clean? So if I can try this, so testnet is literally testnet. The name in there, test, is super important. The idea would be that we treat this like a sandbox environment. You make sure that your ability to claim or be rewarded tokens via a reward engine functions, that tokens that maybe have to be done through the refund that we did a while ago, and people opted for the tokens in the hex buying. Make sure that that engine works and that it rewards properly and that people are seeing the results as expected. You have to go through all these tests. Because of that, things could change. Like, for example, max supply change. So at some point, you have to wipe it probably and start over when you hit mainnet and start producing. Now, obviously, as we've said before, we're keeping the data. We have all this stuff. So you're not losing any of the rewards that have been building up in the background. We're just wiping the mechanism, that I guess the ledger of testnet and starting over on mainnet, obviously further down the road with more months of data, more months of rewards. But I mean, it would have been great if we could go from testnet and then just migrate everything to mainnet. But I think there will be things where things happen during testnet that you can't just easily. But maybe Robin has thoughts.
No, I mean, it's just that, it's you're always going to miss something, even though you try to think of everything. So, that's why the testnet is here. If we mess something up, I don't want to mess it up when it's mainnet. I'd rather mess it up now and adjust, collect feedback from the community. But maybe just, yeah, like Mike said, like the total supply. I mean, with the old supply, if you let's make it easy, 1,000 tokens. Okay, well, now it's 100 tokens. But the value of the tokens are the same, obviously. It's just the supply is different. So it just gives us some wiggle room to try things and see what's good and what's not before we go on, like, I guess, live, so to speak. Or so yeah. So don't obviously we're gonna try to make it as good as possible so it transfers over. But please keep in mind that things will change. But no one is losing out anything. It's just we're testing different stuff.
Right.
Slim, do we need to add a token to the wallet? Well, I just know on Phantom, I mean, for the testnet tokens, you have to add the testnet kind of like network, I guess, to receive them, unless I'm wrong there, Mike.
Yeah, and then you'll have to switch to, again, I'm not a huge Solana user beyond, I'm not even going to list other projects, but a couple other projects. So yes, there's going to be a different network to connect to, and you will have to add a token based on a value, a contract address or something. So yes, there will be a step. As soon as we have that functionality ready, trust me, there will be documentation, maybe even a short video. We are able to make short videos of like 30 seconds or a minute. Just because you haven't seen it yet doesn't mean we can't.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone would like to, we're gonna eventually make some like very clear step-by-step guides on how to do this and on some wallets. But if people have a wallet they really love, and if they want to do a test account to sign up and show people how to do it, obviously feel free. But we're gonna do that on as many as we can that makes sense over time. Let's see, where are we?
Are there any new details on hex refunds from Gamma Nucleus?
Gamma, are you referring to the coins? Yeah. So Mike, you kind of mentioned that, but so right now in testnet, we're obviously gonna test like how that refund works. But the actual refund that has the value equivalent to what you spend on hexes will of course happen in mainnet. Does that make sense, Gamma? Trika Games, any pre-sale for Wings? We're not planning on a pre-sale at this time. And not saying never, but right now we haven't planned for it.
I have heard a lot of questions related to that, even some that people DM me privately. I think people like to hide that. Like, I don't want to tell everybody in the world that I want to possibly buy some tokens early or whatever, but people reach out.
And obviously it's really fun, but we just thought that it would be nicer that to earn the tokens, you actually have to be a miner in the project to contribute. But so yeah, right now we don't have the need for it from a financial perspective. And but I mean, if someone has a really good argument for why and how it could benefit without causing any issues, like I'd be open to hear it.
So Punky says, I have more fun mining than buying. I just wanted to comment on that. I was thinking the other day, how many deep ends or other projects do you join where you actually get to see stuff happening? Like IoT networks, you don't physically get to see packets like shooting over to other stations around you. You don't get to see like stuff physically happening. Even ones that capture, air quality or noise or sound or whatever, you don't get to really see the sound of the air. Well, I guess air quality you can on some extent, but I don't know. I don't find that as interesting as seeing planes flying overhead. I was throwing a football around yesterday, Memorial Day, with my boys at at my in-laws' house, and we were tossing the football around. They're closer to the airport than I am in our house. And let me tell you how many airplanes flew overhead. And I'm like a dog looking at a squirrel. I hear a plane, I look up in the sky, and then I'm thinking, wow, I wish I could like pull out my phone and see what that is. Which I probably could have, but we were only like 40
Yeah.
miles away.
No, it's actually I think the cool thing is, I mean, I didn't have any background at all in aviation, but it's surprisingly fun to just sit and track planes. So I'm really looking forward to us being able to, enhance our map, our user experience, to be able to add origin and destination and stuff like that for all the flights. And so I'm really looking forward to when, because right now either I use TAR 1090 or I still go look at, I'll look at Flight Radar from time to time. They have a good, obviously good interface. But I can't wait for the moment when I just need to use Wingbits instead of going to anything else. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, you say that. I was talking about Wingbits with the in-laws and trying to describe a few things. And, you get those puzzled looks at you, especially when you're trying to explain like volunteer run networks and everybody's just doing it for free. And sure enough, father-in-law like pulls out the phone and he pulls up, shows the one of the other aggregator apps, and I'm like, yeah, I wish I could have said no, just go to ours, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not there yet, but soon it will be. So right now it's looking like we'll start working on enhancing the platform, like in terms of UI and user experience with some functionalities. Starting to work on it here during June sometime. Which is going to be exciting. Obviously, it's probably going to take 30, 45 days to finish stuff. But hopefully by the end of that, it'll be a massive improvement, which will be extremely fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Am I missing something
Slim.
here? Well, yeah, I just want to. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, the tokens will be paid out retroactively. So all the data you submitted since day one you joined, it's all saved, and it will all the calculation is already there. So then we know how much you've earned, and it will be paid out retroactively.
And you may see that happen on testnet, obviously, in preparation and testing of the engine. And then again, it will happen like we mentioned before. It'll happen on mainnet when we're on mainnet.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, where was I here? Well, Nessus, really appreciate that. That's nice. I don't know how many. It would be interesting to run a poll at some point to see how many people here came for like the deep in specific. They like that, versus how many people are, first and foremost flight enthusiasts, and then second maybe deep in enthusiasts. It'd be interesting to get that breakdown at some point.
I think people actually get converted.
I think so.
Like some people are going to come for the deep end and just get converted to, oh, this is a really cool hobby.
Yeah.
Chella, you asked right before that, I think, for now, adding the wallet address, you're not actually adding it to the station, you're adding it to the website, but yes, that's the only step to take currently.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to do a throw out here. Grumpy's video on doing the wallet setup, especially if you have host situations and you want to split rewards. That's great. We will have one soon enough, but for now, Thank you, Grumpy, even though he probably couldn't hear us and had to leave or something. But thank you, Grumpy.
Yeah, that was really nice. Really nice that you jumped on that pretty quick too. So that was awesome. Gamma said, "Is there an ETA on testnet tokens being released?" Yeah, so we just want to make sure enough people have the time to update or run the script again to update the device. And obviously, you don't have to add a wallet. You still accumulate it, but like if more people add it, so we can actually pay it out, that'd be great. So maybe I would say maybe 10 days, 14 tops, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Please, like, give me some slack if it goes a few days longer. It's always unforeseen things popping up, but we're aiming to do it because right now we're so it's just an update and the wallet's being added and it's kind of ready. Let's see. Good, yeah, not using too much power, Cello. Funky's hungry, yeah. I love it. Came here for the coins, but fell in love with the planes. And planes are really fun. One thing I thought about that would be actually pretty cool. There's all this like big increase in this clear air turbulence and all these people getting injured. And in the data, theoretically, we should be able to at some point see, okay, in live, this plane is dropping thousands of feet, and then you kind of know like what constitutes heavy turbulence, and you should actually be able to highlight which planes have are experiencing heavy turbulence, but also from a air aviation industry part, like if one plane is experiencing it and multiple planes are coming through the same airspace after, there has to be a better way of them being notified instantly that like, hey, the plane an hour in front of you experienced this, so maybe reroute or be cautious. So I put that on my idea list, but I thought that would be pretty cool to see live which planes are experiencing really heavy turbulence. Let's see.
Crypto Kurt's asking, how long will we be in testnet? As long as it takes, but hopefully not more than a couple months, few months actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the shorter the better, but we want to make sure that we are not missing big things. That we then would have to adjust in mainnet, which would be way worse. So hopefully, maybe 45 to 60 days.
So just to be clear, I would say expect Q4. If we make Q3 and it's late Q3, great. I don't think we want to set unrealistic expectations because things do happen, but we want to make sure everything's good before we move in. And that's one of those things you can't undo or redo in life.
Yeah, exactly. But the cool thing now is that we are expanding the team, so we have one more developer starting next week. We have a couple more in the pipeline that we're hoping to start within the next couple of months. So we're trying to expand the development side or the tech side of our team to be able to build stuff faster. So that it will speed up from here on. Let's see, where are we?
Kind comments from Cello. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Cello. Really appreciate it. Let's see what Shadow said here. Yeah, so actually, Mike, this is kind of what we talked about yesterday regarding Shadow's question, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so we are looking into doing that now, just for people to kind of get a reference point, see how they're doing compared to other providers. We have to be obviously without giving away information on the people that host antennas you're comparing to. But yes, that's the plan, to have something along those lines in the dashboard or on the map.
Yep. Yeah, you can change the wallet anytime. Obviously, depending on the mechanism used to provide rewards and how all that works out, I don't know if you'll be able to always time it perfectly, but basically you can change it whenever you want. I think that's a fair enough answer.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking I've been in another project where if you tried to change a wallet while the system was running, it could end up splitting rewards between your previous wallet and your current wallet. And it was a little bit of a mess, but we'll make sure we don't have anything like that.
Yeah. And also with the, when we're starting this UX improvement, we are also starting looking into the development of a mobile application. Both for like, you can view your earnings and dashboards and stuff, but mainly for like notifications. If something happens, if it goes offline, it will be easier to have a mobile application than sending an email.
Or like, hey, could you update your station, please?
Yeah, this update would have been great if we had a mobile application. So there's a lot of stuff. Let's see, so I'm not missing anything. Yeah, CryptoCart, we agree. So we're gonna do something like that. Lord Voldemort, how to contact you for business reasons? I think the best way to start would be just a DM on Discord, so we can evaluate exactly what it's about, and then we can take it from there. Yeah, Gamma. Yeah, the push alerts I think will be very helpful. Crypto, how many antennas are currently live? Last I checked, I think it's close to 1,300. So the max, let's see, Crypto. If we keep the distribution time the same, give me a second and I will look exactly what the total is. It also depends, we have the there will be higher rewards year one, and then it will decline before it caps out after 10 years. But on year one, at 10 billion total supply, the max amount of daily distributed tokens is 1,185,466. But it's to keep in mind on the daily max distribution is that most of the ocean hexes will not be able to be covered. And well, that's for every hex, Crypto, not for one person. For every hex on the map, that's the total that can max be distributed. Each hex will have a daily reward of what does that turn out to? 28.8 tokens per hexagon all across the map. That's the max daily reward per hex. So for the tokens that are not claimed, either they will go back into the distribution just to prolong it, or they will be used for area rewards or bounties. Bottom line is all the unclaimed tokens will in one way or another go back to the miners. So we're still playing around with what's the best way of using that. Yeah, exactly. So you get based on your percentage contribution in each hex you cover, you get that percentage of those total 28.8 tokens.
Want to remind anybody and everybody that the doc site continually updates week by week with new content. So the light paper is there currently, and that will give you information on how everything's broken down for rewards per hex, even discusses some of the stuff that we're talking about now. And we keep adding to other areas as well. So if you have a question and you're not near Discord, check the doc site. It may have your answer.
Yeah, and right now we are almost done with the white paper. So obviously, now we adjusted the total supply. What we're thinking about now is looking at different distribution times versus the one we have to look at if any other distribution time makes sense. So everything, they're all living documents. They will update from time to time based on, what if we need to make any changes. Yeah, Grumpy, I like the area coverage, the bonuses. So they will probably start coming into effect a little bit later on when we see what areas are, based on customer feedback a lot. Like, hey, if a customer really needs more coverage around a specific airport or in a specific region, or we see that we're lacking coverage in a region, then maybe those would be used for that. If we need more redundancy around specific airports, I think that's a great use case, because if there's more antennas around the airport, there also needs to be more kind of tokens for it to be worthwhile. So we're still playing, but they'll be used for that mainly. I'll add another +1 to Grumpy's comments because I agree. See, I don't know if there's any cool updates. Mike, can you think of anything cool that happened? I mean, sometimes it's hard because I just feel like I don't really have time to think. There's so much going on.
There is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So it'd be nice to expand the team a little bit. So Slim's question, are the test tokens exchanged for the main token? It depends. The goal is to do that, but it depends on how many things we change. But towards the end of the testnet, I would assume that all the changes that are made are reflecting in the testnet tokens, and then it would be optimally a one-to-one exchange.
But the challenge there is, if we've distributed test tokens, I guess you can look at it two ways. If we have wallets working on testnet, people are getting their rewards, and then things change, obviously we can't give you a one-to-one because the changes that happen have impacted the formula or other calculations, and therefore the ones you were given early on in the testnet are not necessarily the correct values. So it really depends on how all that plays out.
Yeah.
But worst case, I mean, they're just testnet tokens. They really don't mean anything. So worst case, day one on mainnet, things carry forward and it works just like it was on testnet, except all the formulas are set in stone for the time being. We're working forward together.
Yeah. That's the goal, but just keep in mind that we can't promise that based on because, for example, if we go all of testnet and then we adjust total supply again, or we adjust distribution schedule, which affects the rewards per day and all that stuff, then they can't be one-to-one anymore.
Yeah, and you guys don't want to feel, we don't want to have any perception of, ripping someone off or us feeling like we're doing anyone wrong in the project. So there's a lot of opportunity there when things change that people can get bad feelings towards stuff. So there's always the option of starting on mainnet. Again, everything is stored in the back end. We're not losing anything. If you take rewards in testnet, it's not like those rewards are claimed and that data is gone and we don't know what to do anymore. We could literally start over on mainnet day one and start the whole process, and everyone will get what they should have been sent.
Yeah, exactly. The phone number is for, I think that's for two-factor authentication, right, Mike, to enable that?
Yeah, we're looking at implementing multi-factor authentication. In our case, we'll probably just have two-factor, which I guess is a subset of multi-factor, but phone number and using some kind of, I won't spring anything on you now, but it's there because it was in development and it made sense. We'll have more information when it is implemented and you'll see it then.
Yeah, exactly. Crypto, is there a beta reward possible instead of one-to-one base time beta? Do you mean a separate reward for people in alpha and beta kind of deal? In general, when we reach mainnet? While Crypto, if you could expand on your question, I'll answer Mr. Olofsson for now. So our dashboard map, I mean, if you compare that to TAR 1090, it's not great. It's missing planes sometimes. It's still very, very basic. So that's one of the major things we're going to improve now during June when we start working on the whole platform, website, user experience, and user interface. So it will get better. Right now, it's not good. I don't even know how far it is behind TAR 1090, to be honest, but it's not great at the moment.
Did we respond to Grumpy? Suggestion about adding the alias to the earnings screen next to the antenna name. It was a suggestion that I even upvoted and said it needs to be done. Just
Yes.
grumpy, yes. At some point, I think it makes sense. It just has to be obviously prioritized along with everything else currently going on. But it is something that will be dealt with over time. It 100% makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we agree. Sorry, I missed your question there, Grumpy.
Oh, and again, since we're on suggestions, if anybody else has suggestions, please use the suggestions channel and enter them. We read each and every one. We discuss stuff internally and we figure out if it's feasible, if it makes sense, even crazy ones. Ask crazy stuff because crazy stuff can lead to really cool stuff. So make your suggestions.
I agree. I'm reading regarding airdrop Slim for testnet user. We haven't thought of airdrops, but there will be. I'm still trying to decide on setting a cap. There will be a reward for, not saying token reward, but there will be something coming for all the current participants. That will be quite nice as we expand. But I don't know if I mentioned another reward. Maybe I said something that sounded like it. Right now, we haven't planned for specific. We haven't made decisions on specific rewards for beta and alpha members. Besides, obviously, the hex refund, increases for the alpha and beta members. But totally open here. When it comes to NFTs, that's something we can look into. Also,
Who are you just answering?
I'm trying to answer crypto, Kurt. If I said something like a reward, obviously everyone will get. So the earlier you joined, the more rewards you will have built up by the time we reach mainnet. So obviously you will, if you were here from day one in the project, you will earn a lot more. We haven't made decisions on other specific rewards that are coming for beta and alpha members. I know there's one. I can't say what it is yet. It's not token reward, but it's something else that's pretty cool. So we're still gonna think what we can do because obviously we really appreciate everyone that is taking the chance on a project before there's an actual token. That's really, really, really big deal for us. So we are looking at some different things here.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I know there's another project that is going mainnet very very soon that had originally a time based activity reward situation. So how many days you were in was potentially how you were going to get rewarded through their test net moving into mainnet. We are not doing like activity based stuff. It is, well, we're not doing it based on uptime or anything over the period of alpha, beta, whatever. We are literally doing it based on the same rewards formula that we have implemented now and that will be used on mainnet is the same thing you will be retroactively rewarded for all the time since you started participating. It is literally just all saved up, all the data so that it can be run through with the normal rewards engine and calculated for each day. And just to be clear, that means like comparing every single hex out there for every day since the project started, and then all the contributors to each hex and figuring out their percentages compared to each other and calculating all that stuff for every single day up until we're live on mainnet. That's a lot of calculations.
Yeah, considering we're doing over 3 billion updates per day now, it's quite a lot of data.
Yeah, and I think that leads into people like, hey, could we have a total right now? And I think that's one of the challenges and why we have some other priorities right now that are kind of holding it back. But that's a challenge as well for if you want to know how many tokens you've earned, that's got to all be run from day one of the entire project and then cached somewhere into another database. So it's a big undertaking as far as processing time. Robin mentioned how many data points we're doing a day now. And remember, there's a lot more before today. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, but we know it's important to show it at some point. So that's where we're expanding the team. We need to improve all kinds of stuff. Because I mean, again, it's still a fairly new project in terms of when we started working on it full time. I mean, full time was really, I know, Alex started this before I came on, but when we started full time, and I think it was September. That's when we really started building. and we got our first investment from Antler, and since then, obviously, we've been working a lot. So it's still quite early in those terms.
Yep.
Oh, yes, Antonio. Sorry, it's I know I have your DM. I haven't forgotten about you. It's please give me a few more days. It's extremely busy now. I literally have not seen my wife in like 6 months. I feel like so. It's I'm gonna get to it. I promise.
Yeah, it depends. So Cello's asking about bandwidth usage. I actually have a FAQ entry on the doc site on the FAQ page that discusses how you can figure out your own bandwidth usage per month or per day.
Yeah,
But it varies so much. Mobile internet plan, I know some people have plans that once you hit a certain data cap, it goes into slow mode, which some people are reporting is still plenty enough bandwidth to transmit what we're transmitting. So I don't know the answer for that other than it can be from like 30 gigs a month, so basically a gig a day, to like 7 gigs a day if you are in a super busy area, which a few people are. But remember,
yeah,
we're going to change stuff in the future. It should decrease that amount of usage, which works better for us, better for you guys.
yeah. When we change, I mean, that's one of the things we're working on right now is changing how we ingest the data, and that should cut down the bandwidth by a lot. Latency is important, yes. So like a customer, like they want as low latency as possible, definitely under 5 seconds.
Yeah, but just to be clear for PC or computer people, network people, I mean, if you're talking about like 30 millisecond versus 50 millisecond latency, yeah, don't worry about that. But if you read the light paper also, there's discussion about possible penalties for too much delay. So yeah, if you're taking a few seconds for the data to be transmitted, that's probably a problem. It's probably a problem on your local network too. So be careful of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not playing any games online.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw the guy, but I was already dead because 2 seconds earlier, he apparently saw me.
Yeah. There used to be like when I used to play Counter Strike when I was younger. There used to be this script you can run that essentially, I think the latency got really bad, but it meant that you could actually shoot someone and they already were behind the wall, but they lagged, so you got them before they actually, so you could get them like after the fact they ran past. So that was really nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, we had this crazy idea of putting a bunch of Starlink packages on all the container ships running across the ocean with an antenna, but proves to be a bit difficult. So if anyone has any really good friends that work for like the massive maritime shipping companies, let me know.
Was there anything else in the announcement we need to call out? We called out the token supply. We called out the running the install script again.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like adding a wallet. The main two things was adding the wallet and running the script.
Yeah, and some people have said, do I need to really add the wallet on there? Do I really need to set this up? And I guess just to be truthful, the answer is no. You don't have to do that stuff, but I would suggest that you try to do it because it would help you test to make sure that you're getting what you expect out of testnet tokens, and it helps us have someone else who is basically debugging to make sure that we're not missing something. So it would help the project out a lot if as many people that can participate in the wallet related stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do it. You should too.
Yeah, exactly. Any last few questions before I have to hop? Okay, guys. But
All right.
Mike, I'm gonna jump off because I have quite a bit of stuff left to do. But again, like every stage, really, really appreciate everyone showing up here and listening to us and asking questions. And massive thanks for being in the project. And I think super excited about the next few weeks. It's gonna be some really cool cool stuff coming out. And this summer, I think we're going to see so many cool improvements and enhancements to the project overall, so that I just can't wait to kind of start growing faster and doing some cool stuff. So thanks again, guys. Have a really good rest of your day, and we'll see you next stage in a couple more weeks.
Yep. Thank you.
Mike, thanks a lot. See ya.
Bye.